Hello there, my friends. Welcome back to SoulTree Meditation. If you are new here, welcome. You can join me regularly for content regarding meditation, energy, manifestation, and the expansion of your consciousness. So today we are talking about emotion and frequency. This can get kind of misunderstood in the manifestation realm, in the whole manifestation world. And I like to speak about things in terms of my own reality, my own perspective, my own experiences, but I also take a bit of a metaphysical twist on most teachings. So I will be doing that today with this video. So basically, in terms of emotion, you can look at emotion and frequency as being exactly the same thing. Your emotion in general shifts you from different timelines or frequency vibration in your reality, okay? You can look at emotion and frequency as exactly the same thing. When it comes to creating in your reality or changing your frequency, you can look at your emotions as the access to that change. So let's take, for example, if you have a certain emotion about a certain topic in your life, you will notice that you hold a certain emotion about it. Let's say that you have a negative emotion towards a certain topic, such as relationships. If you were to sit and manufacture an emotion, manufacture a positive feeling in regards to relationships, let's say for this example, you would notice that over time, the reflection that you experience in your holographic reality will change to match the emotion that you are holding towards that specific thing, towards relationships or whatever it is that you are using as an example here. So in order to change frequency or to shift timelines, you need to shift your emotion. You need to change your emotion to match the specific timeline that you are trying to reach. So this can actually be quite difficult. Most people do not understand how to manufacture an emotion or create an emotion within them. And some would maybe call this spiritual bypassing. Some would maybe call this faking it. However, in my own personal reality, I have seen dramatically positive results with using this technique, okay? So in order to manufacture an emotion, you can do a few different things. You can sit and just conjure up something in your imagination that makes you feel bliss, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel calm. You can listen to music that raises your emotion. You could listen to music that gives you a good emotion. However, you want to try to manufacture a pure emotion within you. So I would suggest, watching a certain movie, listening to certain music, or conjuring up certain imagery that makes you feel genuinely good. We all have those, things that we like. We all have those songs. We all have those movies. We all have those memories that can take us to a place that genuinely feels good in the body. And you want to be able to manufacture a heightened emotion from where your current baseline emotion sits. So if you can kind of bring a good feeling throughout your body and try to milk that as much as you can and try to raise it and raise it and raise it, you're going to notice that your reflection is going to change in your holographic reality towards a certain topic that you're even imagining, or towards a certain topic that you're holding specific emotions about, or that you're actually trying to change. The reason for this is because frequency and emotion go hand in hand. You cannot separate the two. So in terms of metaphysics, you can look at your reality as a, holographic matrix where there are endless numbers of available timelines of reality running at the same time. They all exist at the same time because there is no time. There actually is no time. Time is an illusion that we use to play out this life experience. So you can look at your consciousness as a bunch of different timelines of reality that are currently running. if you can imagine something, if you can imagine a version of yourself, a higher version of yourself, or a version of yourself that has different experiences that you would prefer to be living, you know that that reality is actually available for you to be living. It's actually existing right now. That's the reason why you can imagine it in your mind, is because it actually exists as a probability for you. If this is something that you desire to live out, if there is an experience that you continue to imagine, or a higher aspect of yourself that you continue to imagine that you would really love to embody, it is because that actual timeline is a high probability for you. And this is very important to understand. So most of us think that our desires are our desires and they're unrealistic. Society will tell us that these things are unrealistic and that we should not pursue them and we should be realistic and all of that kind of programming. However, if you're constantly being drawn to a certain aspect of yourself, or you're constantly imagining yourself as a certain version of yourself, it is because that reality is very close and is actually where you're guided to bring yourself, okay? So usually the issue is that we don't know how to select that type of reality. We don't know how to bring ourselves to that type of reality. And sometimes all it takes is a slight shift in emotion. Sometimes it can be a dramatic shift, sometimes it can be slight. However, if you sit in meditation and you can kind of milk an emotion or bring an emotion through you, you have to have a heightened emotion to be able to access that timeline, because the current timeline that you are living, if it is unsatisfactory or hurting you in some type of way, or just not what you would prefer to be living, it is because the emotion that you are holding within you is keeping you on the timeline that you are currently experiencing. So another way to look at this would be to imagine all of these timelines of existence that are available for you to be living, like different channels that are available on your television. They're all existing at the same time. They're all available on the menu. And you can look at your emotion as the remote control that selects which timeline you would like to be existing on. So your emotion and the timeline of experience have to match up. They have to come together and match up. And sometimes it can be as simple as imagining something that you would like to happen and raising your emotion at the same time as you are holding that imagination, okay? Imagination and emotion are very important when they're brought together because they create reality. I believe it is Dr. Joe Dispenza who said the quote that a high emotion will collapse time and probabilities, which means that a high emotion will shift you into a brand new frequency, which shifts you into a brand new experience, which changes your entire holographic reality that you are experiencing around yourself. So I always tell people to practice manifesting a high emotion. No matter what is happening around you in your circumstances, no matter what you are experiencing in your third dimensional reality, you can find things to appreciate. You can find things to have a high emotion about. And underlying, this is why it is so important, in spirituality, when people are saying, just be positive, have a positive outlook, look on the positive side of life. If you want to get into the metaphysics of this, the reason for that is because you're going to match yourself up with your expectations. You're going to match yourself up with the internal feeling that you have about any particular circumstance. So if you're somebody who is very negative, if you're somebody that is always harping on negative realities, negative possibilities, anything that has to do with victimhood, anything that has to do with pain that you've experienced, anything that has to do with anything in a limiting way, you are literally stopping yourself from launching into the higher timelines and launching into a reality that you would prefer to be living. So it's really important to keep an eye on your emotion. As Esther Hicks always says, allow yourself to feel a high emotion. Caring about how you feel is the key to manifestation, and And that basically means that you are able to hold a positive viewpoint. You're able to look at the glass half full. You're able to see things with rose-colored glasses. And there is nothing wrong with that, because if we're talking about the, makeup of reality, that is exactly how it exists. It allows you to shift yourself into a timeline that you would rather be living. And when it comes to putting this to practice in our real everyday world, I would say that this takes practice. During Ascension, this is something that takes a lot of practice. Most of us have a lot of blocks. Most of us have a lot of negative viewpoints, negative belief systems that hinder us. They hinder us from being able to manufacture positive emotion because we can't believe it. We can't believe that it would be true, and we think that we are lying to ourselves. However, if you can just have a positive emotion about anything in general, you're going to find that things will naturally fall into place in the way that you want them to, if you can just kind of sit and allow yourself to feel a positive emotion. This is where meditation is also extremely helpful in your reality, because if you can quiet the mind and allow your body to calm down, naturally your emotion is going to raise. Naturally, your frequency is going to raise as you are calming down the mind, you're calming down the anxiety, and you're letting yourself align to your source energy, which is going to naturally raise your frequency. When practiced every single day over time, you're going to find that this can create changes in your reality that you never thought was possible. If you are looking to create something in your reality that you don't believe that you can create, I would highly suggest sitting down and raising your energy on a regular basis. There is a exercise that is available through Bentinho Massaro, and if you don't know who that is, I highly suggest that you look him up. He is an amazing teacher of frequency and consciousness, and he suggests to set a timer on your phone when you are first learning how to do this, to go off every couple of hours and look at where your emotion is at that time. Look at how you're feeling. Look if you're feeling low. And if you are, raise your emotion. Try to imagine something positive. You can even, if you can flood your body with positive emotions, you will understand how to do this. And understanding that this is important, because this is how you select a higher timeline of existence. The you that is existing on the timeline that you want to be on does not feel bad about money. They don't feel bad about themselves. They don't feel bad about their relationships. They don't feel down in the way that feels limiting to you. That version of you is existing right now at this very moment, and that is why you can imagine it. So raising your frequency, whether it is during meditation or whether it isn't, is a perfect way to bring manifestation into your reality. Personally, for myself, I have experienced this by manifesting money instantly, by raising my emotion and imagining the certain amount in my mind. Okay, this is an experience that happened to me quite a few years ago when I was first learning how to manifest, but what it did was prove to me that not only is there no time, but everything that you can imagine is available right now in a current running reality, and all you have to do is match up your thoughts and your emotions to that reality, and it collapses time. It brings it down into this 3D timeline reality so that you can live it out. So if you are having trouble manifesting, if you are finding that you're running into a lot of blocks, please go easy on yourself. You might have some healing to do. You might have some belief systems that you're trying to combat. And the easiest way to do this is just to try to get yourself into a happy feeling. And even if that looks like detaching from everything, even if that looks like, taking 5 minutes to be by yourself, to read a nice book or listen to a nice song, the more that you can raise your emotion, the easier that of a time you're going to have in your hologram, because you are raising your emotion and it's going to bring you to that specific frequency that you want to experience. However, if you're feeling ambitious and you're feeling like you can do this drastic raising of emotion, I would suggest that you try this during meditation. or listening to music can be really, really helpful if music resonates with you, or just something that almost gets you hyper, something that makes you feel so good. Because what you're doing when you raise that emotion and you match it with the imagination of that thing that you are wanting to bring into existence is your hologram is actually vibrating. Your emotion makes your hologram vibrate until boom, you have reached enough emotion that it then manifests down into your 3D reality. Then you actually crystallize that into a 3D matter structure that you can see and feel and experience, okay? When it's in your imagination only, it is just a probability of experience. It is just you, again, looking through those available channels that are there on the television. But when you add emotion to it, it's like you are actually taking the remote control and you are selecting that timeline or that channel and saying, yes, this is the one I want to experience. This is the one that I want to watch. So again, remembering that a high positive emotion and holding that is going to allow that reality that you want to experience to come down into your 3D reality so that you can live it out, so that you can experience it, because that is exactly what you're here to do. All of us are creators of our own reality, and we just don't understand how to properly create it, okay? So understanding metaphysics is very, very helpful with this. I do teach private one-on-one courses, manifestation courses that will teach you more about metaphysics and more about understanding this and how to create in your own personal experience. So if you want to book in with me to dive deeper into your personal reality, you can do so. All of the information to do that is in the description box down below. However, you don't need to book private coaching with me. You can just watch YouTube videos and try this on your own. Try to bring that emotion high. Try to hold that emotion high when you're imagining a certain timeline of experience that you want to exist upon, and hold it as much as you can. I will give a little bit of a disclaimer. Sometimes this can be very uncomfortable. Most of us are not used to manipulating our frequency this way, so it can feel very uncomfortable. It can almost feel like you're going to burst. But I would say if you can raise your positive emotion and feel like you're going to burst, and then drop it, and just expect it to manifest in your reality, you can be sure that you're going to see big changes in your reflective hologram. So that's what I have for you today, my friends. I really, really hope that this was helpful. Again, if you want personal help, please feel free to reach out to me. And if not, I will see you again on the next video. Much love.